how to do a proper push-up. We're going to do 3 different variations of it. We're going to do a incline push-up, a kneeling push-up, and a floor push-up. So it doesn't matter where you start as long as you're able to make progress. So if you can't do a floor push-up, don't worry. You can do the other variations and work yourself towards doing that floor push-up. But a couple of precursors before we do any push-ups, I want to show you the proper form. So when we're doing a push-up, I want you to think about pushing, having your hands from the heart. So when we do a push-up, we actually push from the heart. So it might be a good idea just standing up here to practice doing push-ups with your hands parallel to your heart and just getting a good feel for where your elbow position is and where your hand positions are. Because when we put pressure on this by doing the push-ups, we want to be in that same form. You'll notice that when I do this and I keep my hands from the heart, my shoulders are more in that A frame position. So if you take a look at me, I look more like a letter A rather than a letter T. If we ever do push-ups where we're kind of in that letter T position, usually what happens is we put too much pressure on the shoulders, which can cause shoulder pain, and definitely not getting anything out of our chest muscles, which are big muscles that really can help boost our metabolism. And of course, it keeps us safer as well. So when we're doing the push-ups, we push from the heart, keeping those shoulders down. All right, so let's get to the incline push-up. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do an incline push-up using a countertop. A countertop is usually 3 feet. So a good place to start if you're a beginner and still want to get some strength out of it. If you have a countertop that's got kind of sharp edges, just grab a couple of hand towels here and we can use that for our hands. So we want to make sure that we don't put our hands right on top, but get them kind of cornered in the bottom palm of your hand, pressed into the edge of the counter. Hands should be just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart for this particular, basically a regular chest push-up. And again, we want to make sure that I'm pushing from the heart. So when I lower myself down, I want to notice that my hands are actually in line with my heart or parallel to the heart and not too high up. So if your feet are too far back and you start pushing this way, you'll know right away. Your hands are above the heart, you're in that T position, shoulders probably won't feel so good. So I want to make sure that I'm in a good strong position. I'm lowering myself down, my whole body. Right? What we don't want to do is bow towards the push-up. We want to make sure that everything falls down, pushing from the heart, extending your muscles, getting full range of motion as much as you can, breathing. Okay, and you want to work yourself to doing up to 20 repetitions. All right, so I'm going to show you a kneeling push-up and then a full push-up position. Starting with the kneeling push-up, again, we want to make sure that our hands are kind of in that bear claw position and not completely flat. So we take the pressure off of the wrists and put it on the muscles and saving your wrists any type of pain. If you still have pain with doing push-ups on the ground, I do recommend trying to find something that you can put your hands on that give you a neutral position. So when you're pushing up, your hands aren't flexed or your wrists aren't flexed at all. And that can really help you out. Ultimately, if there's pain in anything, don't do it. All right, so let's get to the kneeling push-up. So again, we want to get our hands in that position. Again, we want to push from the heart. So let's get into a position here where my hands are at the heart. Okay. I'm going to just cross my ankles here. So now I know that when I push up, I'm going to push up right onto my knees. And I'm just continue this push-up position. Okay, I want to make sure that posture is always in good alignment, and we want to do up to 20 repetitions. When you can do up to 20 repetitions, go ahead, give it a try from the feet, which we will do right now. So similar position, we want to make sure that the hands are in line with the heart. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Okay, and from this position, I'm just going to exhale, press up, making sure that my body is a nice straight line. We don't want a TP push-up. Okay, we definitely don't want a slinky push-up. And we don't want to jut our head forward and try to push up, because then we're just kind of cheating ourselves and we're not actually getting low. Okay, so we want to lower ourselves down, exhale, press away, pushing from the heart. And that's a regular push-up. Again, see if you can work your way up to doing 20 repetitions. There's plenty of other variations to come along, but these are the standard ones that we'll start with. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to do a proper squat, and I'm going to show you a couple of variations in case your knees are a little bit uncomfortable with doing a regular squat. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that you have a chair and a water bottle just to learn how to do the squat, okay? So what we want to do is we want to grab that chair, stand up close to it, and then push the chair out as far as you can. And then this is going to give you the length that we need to be away from the chair to learn how to do a squat. Then you're going to grab your water bottle. We want to make sure that our feet are about shoulder width apart, slightly wider is okay. And then you can play around with your toes either pointing straight ahead or just slightly flared out. I like to point my toes slightly flared out. I just feel like I get more glute activation and it's safer for my knees as well. So now that we're in this position, you're going to grab your water, and whenever we squat, we want to make sure that we squat from the hips moving first and the knees just follow along. So I'm going to squat from my hips, lower myself down as low as I can, making sure that I don't fall forward and hit myself on the chair. So that's why we're using the chair here. So when I squat down, I know that I'm going straight down with my glutes falling down, just sitting right down, and not falling like so, where I'm not actually squatting, I'm just pushing my butt out at that point. So making sure that I can squat down. And you only want to squat down as low as you can without pain, right? There should be no pain in anything that we do. So if you've practiced this chair squat here, where again we push this chair out, make sure that we squat down without moving closer to the chair, we know that we've got a good squat position. Now, if we can do that, and we're really good with it, the next exercise progression is actually do what's called a knuckle squat. And it's the squat that my grandfather, Andy, used to do all the time when I was a kid. So all we do is grab one fist, make a fist, and we squat down, keeping our posture up nice and tall, and try to touch that fist towards the floor, okay? And I like to alternate my hands, squatting down, keeping my posture up nice and tall, and touching the knuckles towards the floor, okay? So if you haven't squatted properly before, or you're not sure, try the chair with the water bottle squat first. If it feels really good, then we can move on to the knuckle squats. And you want to work yourself up to being able to do 20 bodyweight squats at a time. Now, if you have knees that really don't like it, you've tried it, you're not sure if your form is right, and maybe your knees just don't like it, we can do chair squats, but I'm going to show you how to do it and get the most out of it. So a chair squat is just as it sounds. You sit down. When we stand up, we actually want to drive from the heels. So you want to push the heels into the earth as you stand up and come right back down. Okay, so this means that my feet aren't directly tucked underneath the chair. They really should be at about 90 degrees. Drive those heels into the earth, stand up. Okay, drive into the earth, stand up. Okay, and this should be fine because you're sitting in a chair, which hopefully you're able to do. If not, then private message me and we'll get you fixed up for sure. Anyway, so those are the squats that you want to do. Work yourself up to doing 20 bodyweight squats. Hey everyone, I want to welcome back Nicole for another round of exercises. Today we're going to show you how to do the hip hinge as part of this workout. Now the hip hinge is actually a precursor movement pattern for a whole lot of other really cool and athletic exercises that we can do in the future, but we want to make sure we master this movement first. So Nicole's going to show us how to do it. So first we want to use a dowel, if you have one, a golf club, a broomstick, anything. We want to place it on our back, on our hip bone, shoulder blade, and the back of our head. This helps keep our posture in the right position. And the whole goal is when we do this movement, we want to keep that dowel touching all 3 points of contact. So we want it to maintain contact with that with your tailbone, with your shoulders, and the back of your head. Now the purpose of this exercise, we want to have a chair as well. This helps us. and we have the chair with the seat pointing behind us. And the whole goal is to try to hinge from your hips, pushing your butt backwards to the edge of the chair. Very good. And then you're going to stand up, and as you stand up, you squeeze your glutes. So as you push back, Nicole, do you feel your hamstrings kind of get a good stretch through there?
Yeah.
Very good.
Juicy.
Yeah, I can see it. And then when you stand up, you feel those glutes, you want to tighten up your butt muscles. So this is the hip hinge pattern where most of the weight should be on your heels. And of course, we know that we're using this chair because if you just bend over without pushing your butt back, you'll know because your butt's going to stay in line with the chair here. We don't want that. We want that butt going back towards the front of the seat. So let's do a couple more repetitions where we push that butt back towards the seat. Weight's mostly on the heels, standing up nice and tall, squeezing the glutes. Very good. And so we want to do this for up to 20 repetitions. And you might feel a good stretch. It might not feel like a good strengthening workout yet, but in the future exercises, we're going to modify this to make it a challenge. But we want to make sure that we get the hips in the right position. Fantastic. So that's the hip hinge exercise. Thank you, Nicole. High five. If you have mastered the dowel hip hinge, where we use a chair to push our butt backwards along with a dowel to make sure that our back is staying nice and flat, and you've mastered that movement and can do 20 repetitions without any issues, the next exercise that we can do is actually practicing without the dowel, and you can remove the chair, and we're going to make it one step farther. We're going to call this the Hinge Hammer exercise. So what we want to do is we want to make a fist, clench our fists together, or hands together to make a one fist. And we're going to do that hinge movement. We want to hold this position, weight mostly on our heels, and then we're just going to raise our arms up as high as we can without pain and back down. So this is called the Hinge Hammer. Okay, we can do this exercise for up to 20 repetitions, the Hinge Hammer. Give it a try.